Welcome to Temple Emmanuel of South Hill's virtual second night Seder. Traditionally during the Seder we ask why this night is different from all other nights. And this Seder, this year, we ask why is this year different from all other years? The answer, I think, is that we have pressed fast forward. We commemorate, we celebrate not only the Exodus from Egypt, but the giving of the commandments at Mount Sinai. Those commandments, Bein Adam l'Makom, between us and God, and Bein Adam l'Chavero. Those commandments between us and our fellow human beings, reminding us of our responsibility one to another. This year, we feel that sense of responsibility, and we do our best by the most vulnerable in our communities by staying at home, by joining in a virtual Seder rather than with our loved ones. It makes it a difficult year, and yet perhaps in those feelings of anxiety while confined to our own homes, we truly feel as if we ourselves were taken out of Egypt. We invite you to participate along with Rabbi Lockets and I and our many special guests throughout the course of the evening. Thank you so much for being with us.
Karpas yachatz, magir rochza, motzi matza, maror korech, shulchan orech, tzafun barech, halel nirtza.
Good evening, Temple Emmanuel, and Chag Sameach. I'm Cantor David Fromer, a classmate of Rabbi Myers from Hebrew Union College, and I now serve as a military chaplain in the California Army National Guard. I've currently been mobilized with many of our soldiers to support and assist with California's response to COVID-19. A year and a half ago, your Jewish community in Pittsburgh showed the rest of the nation what it looks like to rally together in the face of scary and uncertain times. And we now look to you for inspiration as we work to support each other during this current crisis. Here in California, the National Guard is helping out at local medical facilities to ensure our citizens receive the care they need, and also at local food banks to ensure they have enough to eat. It's given a whole new meaning to the opening prayer for this evening, the Kiddush, where we bless God through the fruit of the vine. Tonight, let's be extra grateful, not just for the food that we'll enjoy, but also for those soldiers and civilians who are out there making sure that we're not the only ones. I'll lead us in this special Kiddush for Passover, but please join in with me at the end for the familiar melody of Shehecheyanu. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol am, ורוממנו מכל לשון, וקידשנו במצוותיו. ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה, מועדים לשמחה, חגים מוזמנים לששון, את יום חג המצות הזה, זמן חירותנו, מקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. ומועדי קודשך בשמחה וששון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש ישראל והזמנים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Hello, I'm Andrew Zahalski. Today I'm going to demonstrate hand washing. First, turn the water on. Then, soap up your hands, all of your hands. Then, rub your hands vigorously under the water for 20 seconds. Some people sing the happy birthday song, but because we're Jewish, I'm going to sing Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
Tasim leolam.
Then, dry your hands with a paper towel and use either the paper towel or the back of your hands to turn the sink back off.
We turn now to the karpas, the part of our Seder where we recognize that it is the start of spring. We take a green vegetable, usually parsley or celery, and we dip it in salt water as we remember the tears that our ancestors shed during the bitterness of slavery. Perhaps you have parsley that you planted at our Tu B'Shvat Seder. If so, the timing should be right for you to be able to use it tonight. If not, any green vegetable will do. We take our parsley or our celery or whatever we are using as we recite Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Borei Pri Ha'adamah. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruits of the earth. Then we dip it in our salt water and take a bite if you would prefer, or I know some people just like to eat the salt water.
This is the bread of affliction that our ancestors ate when they were in the land of Egypt. Let all who are hungry come and eat. All who are needy come and celebrate Passover with us. This year we are here in the virtual space. Next year we hope to be in Israel, or at least in person. This year we are slaves. Next year we will be free.
Mikol Hallelu, Shebecho Hallelu, Anu Clean Hamei to Matzah, Hamei to Matzah, Halayla Hazeh, Kulo Matzah, Halayla Hazeh, Kulo Matzah, Shebecho Hallelu, Anu Clean She'ar Yirakot, She'ar Yirakot, Halayla Hazeh, Maror, Halayla Hazeh, Maror, Shebecho Hallelu, Ein Anu Mipanim, Afilu Pa'am Echad, Afilu Pa'am Echad, Halayla Hazeh, Shetei Fe'amim, Halayla Hazeh, Shetei Fe'amim, Shebecho Hallelu, Anu Clean, Ben Yushvinu, Ben Misubim, Ben Yushvinu, Ben Misubim, Halayla Hazeh, Kulanu Misubim, Halayla Hazeh, Kulanu Misubim.
Jewish tradition tells us that there are 4 children at the Seder table, each with a unique understanding of Passover: the wise child, the wicked child, the simple child, and the silent child, the one who does not know how to ask questions. Yet we know that every one of us is a bit of each of these children. At times, we have been each one of them. What does the wise child say? The wise child asks diligently, "What are the testimonies and laws which God commanded you?" What does it mean to be the wise child? It means to be fully engaged in the community, to know the limits of your understanding, to be able to search for the answers to that which you do not know. At different points in our lives, we have been this child, inquisitive, caring, eager to learn and to understand, willing to ask for information we do not have, hopeful that an answer can be found. What does the wicked child say? The wicked child asks, "What does this service mean to you?" To you and not to himself or herself. What does it mean to be the wicked child? It means to stand apart from the community, to feel alienated and alone, depending only on yourself, to have little trust in the people around you to help or answer your questions. At different points in our lives, we have been this child, detached, suspicious, challenging.
What does the simple child say? The simple child asks, "What is this?" What does it mean to be the simple child? It means to see only one layer of meaning, to ask the most basic of questions, to be too innocent or too impatient to grasp that which is complicated. At different points in our lives, we've all been this child, simply curious and innocently unaware of the complexities that surround us. What about the child who doesn't know how to ask a question? Help this child ask. Start telling the story. It's because of what God did to us by taking me out of the land of Egypt. What does it mean to be the silent child? This child can be indifferent, no longer willing to engage, or passive, who just shows up. Or it can be the child whose spiritual life is based on faith, not rational arguments, who hears something deeper than words, who knows how to be silent and to listen to the surrounding silence. At different points in our lives, we've all been this child, unable to articulate, quiet, searching for the right words, listening in silence.
Morning when Pharaoh woke up in his bed, there were frogs on his head. Oh, that one almost landed on my head. And frogs in his bed. Oh, yeah, there were frogs on his nose, right there. And frogs on his toes. Oh, frogs here, frogs there. Frogs are jumping everywhere.
In the years our ancestors lived in Egypt, our numbers multiplied, and soon the house of Jacob became the people of Israel. Pharaoh and his advisors became alarmed by this great nation flourishing within their borders, so they enslaved us. We were forced to perform hard labor, perhaps even building pyramids. Our oppressors feared that even as slaves, the Israelites might grow strong and overthrow them, so Pharaoh decreed that Israelite baby boys should be drowned in the Nile. But God heard the cries of the Israelites, and God brought us out of Egypt with a strong hand and an outstretched arm, with great awe, miraculous signs and wonders. God brought us out not by an angel or messenger, but through God's own intervention.
As we rejoice at the Israelites' deliverance from slavery, we acknowledge this freedom was hard-earned. We regret that freedom came at the cost of others' suffering, for we are all made in the image of God. Therefore, we take away just a little bit of our joy of wine by placing a drop of it on our plates as we recite each of the 10 plagues. Dam, blood. Sfardea, frogs. Kinim, lice. Arov, beasts. Dever, cattle disease. Shchin, boils. Barad, hail. Arbeh, locusts. Choshech, darkness. Makat bechorot, death of the firstborn.
The Wandering is Over Haggadah that we're using for this Seder in our virtual space contains modern-day plagues. And for another that didn't make the list, I turn it to Rabbi Menachem, Creditor.
Hey, Temple Emmanuel. Menachem, Creditor here. I am really, really excited to join you at your Seder. At Rabbi Meyer's invitation, I wanted to include in our list of plagues that we are fighting as a world and certainly as a country, the plague of gun violence. There are ways to contextualize it in Pesach terms, and what I would do is say that there are dehumanization processes that were part of the Israelites' experience in Egypt, and they weren't immediate, they were gradual, and they were cultural, and they were encoded in culture and law. It is also clear that in order to emerge, each of the plagues cost Egypt something really, really precious, and of course, the final plague, the worst of it all, was the cost of a child. The plague of gun violence in America is 25 times the rate of gun violence death of other high-income countries. It is clear that amid this epidemic, this pandemic, gun sales are rising and there's panic buying of ammunition and guns, and that is a plague that is ongoing during our actual plague. It is also clear that our children shouldn't grow up with bulletproof backpacks. Schools should not be places where we send our children with nervousness. And we should find ways of building trust with law enforcement and reduce urban gun violence, which is its own plague. All of this happens at the cultural and legal levels. Our current plague is in place because politicians have been afraid to act for the common good or have begun worshiping the Second Amendment in a way that is unique to America in world history. We have a lot of work to do. It is clear that with many organizations, including Everytown, Giffords Courage, the Brady Center, and March for Our Lives, we are far from done with this work, and we are far from alone in doing it. And so may we join together to end this plague of gun violence in America.
Die, die, hey, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, hey, do. Die, hey, do. Die, hey, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, hey, do. Die, hey, do. Ilu hotzi, hotzi, anu, hotzi, anu, mi mitzrayim. Hotzi, anu, mi mitzrayim. Die, hey, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, do. Die, hey, do. Die, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, do. Die, hey, do. Ilu nantan, nantan lanu, nantan lanu et ha-Torah, nantan lanu et ha-Torah. Die, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, do. Die, hey, do. Die, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, die, hey, do. Die, do. Die, hey, do.
Rabban Gamliel would say that whoever didn't explain the shank bone, matzah, and maror on the Seder plate hadn't quite finished the Passover rituals. The shank bone, the zroah, represents the sacrifice in the days of the temple. It also reminds us of the final plague when the Israelites were instructed to smear lamb's blood on the doorposts of their house so that the angel of death would pass over their homes. The matzah on our table reminds us of the bread that our ancestors baked when they were freed from bondage. Having to leave in such a hurry, they did not have time to let the dough rise, and they ate this instead. We too eat matzah and refrain from anything that's leavened or rises so that we can relive that experience. The third symbol is that of maror, the bitter herbs, that reminds us of the bitterness of slavery, of the hard life of labor our ancestors experienced.
Hi everyone, and Chag Sameach. My name is Susanna Heschel, and I started the custom of putting an orange on the Seder plate, and I want to tell you how that came about. It was in the early 1980s. I was a graduate student at the University of Pennsylvania, and I was editing a book that was published in 1983 called On Being a Jewish Feminist. And it was around that time that in the United States, and especially in San Francisco, many gay men were dying of a terrible disease. Nobody knew really how to identify it, what was going on. It started out with something called Kaposi's sarcoma. And so many young men, tens of young men, hundreds, were dying. A terrible death. And people were begging Ronald Reagan, who was the president of the United States, to put funding into finding some kind of a treatment, a cure. The disease was dismissed by many people. Reagan wasn't interested. There were some people who said this was a plague, a punishment from God on gay men. It was terrible. And it was around then that I started putting an orange on the Seder plate. And I did it out of solidarity with gay men and lesbians at this terrible time. Everybody would take a piece of the orange. We would make the bracha over fruit and eat the orange out of solidarity, and then spit out the seeds of homophobia. So that was the original point. And after a while, I would talk about it and tell people what I was doing. But maybe around the 1990s or so, I heard a rumor started going around saying that, in fact, I had been giving a lecture in Miami Beach, And a man stood up in the back of the room and said, "A woman belongs on the bima like an orange on the Seder plate." So more and more people were telling me this story. It never happened, and it made me crazy. First of all, they took my idea and they gave it to a man. And then they removed entirely the whole issue of the homophobia, which is something that each of us needs to work on. And then they were saying we're going to eat an orange because a woman should be on the bima. Well, they're women rabbis already, so it's not exactly a great act of moral courage to say I'm going to eat a piece of orange so that a woman should be on the bima. Anyway, I used to think if they could do this to my story, I started wondering, what about all the other women in Jewish history? How much of what we read in Maimonides was actually written by his wife? And Rabbi Akiva, and Hillel, and so many others. At any rate, I hope very much that in this difficult time, this time when we are very, very strongly challenged by a terrible virus and by terrible inequities in our country in terms of access to health and the failure of the government to adequately provide nurses and doctors with the equipment they need to protect themselves and to help patients try to survive this terrible coronavirus. I hope we come together and we will find this Pesach Seder to be particularly meaningful and inspiring. And always remember that even in moments that feel to us terrible, overwhelming, and apocalyptic, we as Jews have our prophetic tradition, our prophetic voice, and we have to stand up and make it be heard loud and clear. So I wish you all Chag Kasher v'Sameach.
Bechol dor vador chayav adam lirod et atzmo k'ilu hu yatsa mimitzrayim. In every generation we're commanded to see ourselves as if we personally left Egypt. And so we lift our glasses in great praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Now we once again wash our hands as we prepare for the meal. Just as we prepared for our holiday ritual, so too we now prepare to eat, recalling the way the ancient priests once prepared for their service in the temple. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah.
It's time now for the third glass of wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Eliyahu hanavi, Eliyahu hatishbi. Eliyahu hagiladi, Eliyahu hanavi, Eliyahu hatishbi. Eliyahu hagiladi. Eliyahu hanavi, Eliyahu hatishbi. Eliyahu hagiladi, Eliyahu hanavi, Eliyahu hatishbi. Eliyahu hagiladi, bimera yavo Elenu Mashiach ben David. bimera yavo elenu Mashiach Mashiach ben David Eliyahu Hanavi Eliyahu Hatishbi Eliyahu Hagiladi Eliyahu Hanavi Eliyahu Hatishbi Eliyahu Hagiladi Bimera Yavo Elenu Mashiach ben David Bimera Yavo Elenu Mashiach ben David.
Our fourth and final glass of wine before we join in the songs of our tradition. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
My father bought a lamb for Seder Chad Gadya. Then came a cat
Meow.
that ate up all the lamb. My father bought to serve for Seder Chad Gadya. Then came a dog that bit the cat
Meow.
that ate up all the lamb. My father bought to serve for Seder Chad Gadya. Then came a stick that hit the dog that bit the cat
Meow.
that ate up all the lamb. My father bought to serve for Seder Chad Gadya. Then came the fire that burnt up all the sticks that hit the dog that bit the cat
Meow.
that ate up all the lamb. My father bought to serve for Seder Chad Gadya. Then came the water
Drip, drip, drip.
that put out all the fire that burnt up all the sticks that hit the dog that bit the cat
Meow.
that ate up all the lamb. My father bought to serve for Seder Chad Gadya. Then came the ox that drank up all the water
Drip, drip, drip.
that put out all the fire that burnt up all the sticks that hit the dog that bit the cat
Meow.
that ate up all the lamb. My father bought to serve for Seder Chad Gadya. Then came the butcher that killed the ox that drank up all the water
Drip, drip.
that put out all the fire that burnt up all the sticks that hit the dog that bit the cat
Meow.
that ate up all the lamb. My father bought to serve for Seder Chad Gadya. Then came the angel of death that slew the butcher that killed the ox that drank up all the water
Drip.
that put out all the fire that burnt up all the sticks that hit the dog that bit the cat
Meow.
that ate up all the lamb. My father bought to serve for Seder Chad Gadya. Then came the Holy One, blessed be God,
Don't make me come down there.
who vanquished the angel of death that slew the butcher that killed the ox that drank up all the water
Drip, 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 drip.
that put out all the fire that burnt up all the stick that hit the dog, that bit the cat,
Meow.
that ate up all the lamb.
Ba.
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 My father bought to serve for Seder Chad Gadya.
We count the days of the Omer, the barley offering traditionally brought to the temple, as we number the days between Passover and Shavuot, the giving of Torah at Mount Sinai. We recognize through this counting that each and every day matters, and that it's up to us to make each and every day count.
These are the days of the journey, as we wandered the deserts together. We walked and we watched and we waited for our time. So we counted each day of the journey. It's a journey we traveled together, till the day we arrive at the mountain and we climb. If we counted the sand in the ocean, if we counted the stars in the sky, if we counted the minutes and the hours, counting the days going by, counting the days going by, we are counting, we are counting, one by one by one. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu. Sfirat HaOmer, Hayom Yom Echad LaOmer. Today is day number 1 of the Omer.
Next year in Jerusalem.
לשנה הבאה בירושלים.
Next year, Bezrat Hashem, God willing, in person. This concludes our Seder this evening. Thank you so much for joining with us. We hope to see you again soon.
Die, die, hey, do. Die, die, hey.